in Pune Center, which leads to where Baba's photograph is there.
Jai Baba, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Yes, that's in fact the protocol that I've seen observed in many centers, including many of the Andhra centers, and I think the old Bangalore center as well. The new one does not have that. Anyway, let's rotate things a bit. Sanjay ji, why don't you read the seven realities if you're okay?
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah. Jai.
The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. The only real love is the love for this infinity, God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even the life itself, are sacrificed. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harmed you. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amongst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
I was talking on mute. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. How's everybody this morning? All good. Let's start with our new chapter. We are on page 153 of volume 3. This is 1952 still, and the chapter is called Meetings Before the Great Gathering. Shubji, are you in a position to read?
I, yeah.
Sure. Okay. So let's start with you. We'll keep rotating as we go along.
Jai
Avatar,
Baba. Jai Baba, everyone.
Jai Baba Ravi ji, how are you?
yeah, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Meetings before the Great Gathering, 1952, Part 7. Informal talk with the mandali. It was November 4th. Baba arrived at about 7:30 a.m. On his way to the hall, he asked about the health of some of some as usual, as was usual. He was wearing a silk coat, unbuttoned at the collar, over a white muslin sadra. He rested on the gadi He looked so divine that his radiance seemed to stretch in all directions. He gestured to us to sit down. Although I almost never looked into Baba's eyes, I often focused my attention after taking my seat behind someone on Baba's broad, resplendent forehead. I also loved to watch Baba gracefully move his hands to brush back his hair. Being in a happy mood, he was joking and in general relaxing in his companionship with the mandali. He called for all the five priests, Kaikobad, Kalimama, Ramju, Murli, and Daulat Singh. Four of them were in the hall, but Murli had not yet come. Someone went out to call him. Baba remarked, "He's so lazy that even if I were to promise him God realization, he wouldn't come on time." By this time, Murli rushed in the hall. Baba then asked each of the five to repeat 7 times a short prayer glorifying God, the Lord of all. So I'm just curious to know what is it prayer?
Hari Paramatma, I think,
Oh,
because it says glorifying. Maybe that we don't know.
yeah, okay, okay. Just
Maybe. Yeah.
just curious, that's all.
Yeah. Sure. Good
Ramji,
curiosity.
sorry.
Good curiosity, but no clarity right now.
Ramju had a cold. The next day he was to read from the Quran on behalf of Baba. So Baba remarked, "May he be relieved of his cold by tomorrow." And with a pause, he suggested, "What if he takes the medicine from Baidul?" With Baidul, there is no such thing as checking or studying one's symptoms. Baidul administers his medicine in his own way, and the patient is either totally cured or his heart beats no more. A little later, he gestured, "As there will be a special and serious program beginning November 7th, let us have the light talk today." Firam, working boxwala, was not feeling well, and Baba commented, "Why worry, Firam? Perhaps you will outlive all of us." Ustadji, Baba continued, is the one who is always in perfect health. He was the one who had no complaints about his health when we were in the West. He likes ice cream, and Terry had plenty, so he was in a good mood as well. Sometimes he says, "If you want to live for 125 years in perfect health, give me a dozen bananas each day." Baidul likes non vegetarian dishes, and when he gets them, he forgets everything else. Addressing all, Baba concluded, "Eat well and rest well during your stay at Mirabad, but also remember that November 15th, our fiery life, Karbala, begins." There is a, yeah, the, the cross reference 68, the, the place in Iraq where Hassan and Hussein, the Prophet's grandsons, were killed in a battle and became martyrs.
I think this has got something to do with the celebration of, I think, Muharram, because that's where they call out Ya Hussein, Ya Hassan on the road, and they actually mourn.
Yeah,
They mourn the slaying or the martyrdom of these two people. Yeah.
yeah. By this time, Anna 104 had arrived, and Baba gestured that he always felt happy to see Anna with his peculiar dress and mannerisms. Baba announced to all that Anna liked buttermilk, but even more than that, he liked chewing tobacco. When Anna talked to others with his mouth full of tobacco and saliva, it was hard to understand what he mumbled. but it was frequently an amusing sight. Baba's mood changed and he began to talk about some work. He instructed Adi to print in English and Hindi some of his messages, which were to be delivered on the tour of the fiery free life. He also gave some day-to-day instructions to various mandali and then discussed the important items of the November 8th program. While we were all gathered in the hall that morning, a bed bug was discovered on Baba's seat. God alone knows how it got there, since Baba's Gandhi had been carefully made up with a nice mattress and a spotless white sheet covering it. But the bed bug's presence, or perhaps his bite, had upset Baba, or at least it seemed so. Baba, Baba reprimanded the mandali for not being more careful in checking things for him. He looked at them and remarked in Gujarati, I am trapped in the hands of these demons. These loving admonition resulted in the entire hall being thoroughly cleaned. During lunchtime, Baba's seat and mattress were put in the sun, and everything was taken from the hall and put on the veranda for a careful inspection. Then the entire hall was scrubbed down. Baba's slightest wish and comfort were of immense importance to all of the mandali. In the afternoon, Baba talked with the mandali about the copies of the form he had sent with Eraj and Pendu to be filled in by those who were ready to dedicate either their money, services, or life in Baba's cause. Baba asked Minu Kharas to sort out the forms later and remarked, until now, I have not sent out a form of this kind. I do not expect even a paise sent, if not given with love. And even though at present I do not have a single paise. Baba then put his hands into his pockets and demonstrated that they were empty. However, he added, today, in spite of being the poorest of the poor, I have resolved to plunge into the ocean of divine love in my fiery life. And from November 15th onwards, I won't accept money even if someone offers it. God's sense of humor. It was a day for light talk, and it seemed most appropriate that Baba touched on the subject of God's sense of humor. He stated that creation is God's Leela, divine sport, and that it is sustained by his sense of humor. He also explained that the expression of God's humor varies with the scope and range of work that is ordained and accomplished in each advent through the avatar, Sadgurus, saints, and mas. In fact, God's sense of humor is so pervasive that there is not a person who is totally devoid of it. Baba began in a humorous vein. Whether I am the avatar or Satan, one thing is certain, and that is I have a great sense of humor. It is my sense of humor that makes me rejoice to see Anna 104 and happy to listen to the irrelevant talk of Bhavadas. Anna's type of personality is more than enough to exhaust the patience and forbearance of rishis and munis, saints and sages. Yet I cannot help but humor them both and going out of my way to keep them near me. Both of them have rendered great and unique service to me. I know that they both love me sincerely. Baba referred to the incidents from the different lives of the avatar that express a deep sense of humor. He continued, it is said that once Rasul-e-Khuda, the messenger of God, felt indisposed, and someone suggested that was due to an evil eye and he should sleep on a pillow with an open knife underneath it. He did so and thereafter declared himself to be all right. Call it ordinary or call it divine. It was Muhammad's sense of humor. It is a fact that during the childhood, sorry, it is a fact that during the childhood of his grandsons Hassan and Hussein, the Prophet predicted the Muharram Karbala to his daughter Fatima, the mother of the martyrs, and the Prophet did not try to avoid or avert the tragedy, and that was only because of God's divine sense of humor in Muhammad. Likewise, the strife between the Kauravas and Pandavas and the consequent bloodshed was not only due to the divine sense of humor in Krishna, but its height was reached when Krishna himself died through an arrow that accidentally struck one of his legs from the bow of an ordinary hunter who never had any intention of harming the Rangila playful avatar in any way. The kind-hearted, uh, the kind-hearted Jesus knew very well that his nearest disciple would betray him and thus led to his crucifixion. But because of the divine sense of humor, Christ could not help getting himself crucified, although the world rightly continues to look upon him as the savior of humanity. The funniest divine sense of humor was on the part of Buddha when he simply died of simple dysentery, though his medicine for the spiritual bimaris, illnesses of mankind, holds the field to this day. In short, save for a change in circumstances, the atmosphere and surroundings, the same old story goes on repeating again and again, which by itself proves the divine sense of humor. The manifestation of the divine fun, sport, or leela, however, depends upon the great ones, perfect ones of God, who achieve oneness with God, and thus, in spite of raising themselves over the law of duality, they still retain the divine sense of humor to uphold the universal law of ignorance, which knowledge divine is achieved for all eternity.
Okay. Interesting statement.
Yes, and
If you can read from here again.
yes, I will. And interesting anecdotes of how the avatars met their end.
Oh,
I'll start from the whole paragraph again, okay? The manifestation of the divine fun, sport, or lila, however, depends upon the great ones, the perfect ones of God, who achieve oneness with God, and thus, in spite of raising themselves above the law of duality, they still retain the divine sense of humor to uphold the universal law of ignorance through which knowledge divine is achieved for all eternity.
so let's just break that up. They still retain the divine sense of humor to uphold the universal ignorance, he says. Universal law of ignorance through which knowledge divine is achieved for all eternity. So one is reminded of the dedication of God speaks when you read this particular paragraph, right? I'll mark it up.
Yeah, you can highlight that, and it reminds me of the seesaw. That is, on one side is knowledge divine, and the other side is ignorance. So as you get more of knowledge, the Ignorance of the law of ignorance diminishes.
Yeah.
That's just another way of remembering it.
Oh, that's Baba's quote. I
Sorry?
think. I think that's a quotation from Baba, given that it's indented in. Yes. Yes. So, yes, he continued. So this is Baba's quote right up. Okay, please continue. So I was wondering if it was Bal Natu's words. It is not.
This seems to sort of signify that the struggle for knowledge can happen only in case of in if there is ignorance. So if there
With
is no
ignorance.
ignorance, then what will be the state if everyone is knowledgeable? Can we think of that?
Uh, the other way of looking at it is the Leela will not have any progress, or what should I say? The Leela will not play out
Yes.
in the absence of ignorance. Right? So ignorance is key for Leela to be sustained. Right? So the Leela is sustained by ignorance, and only through ignorance can you get to knowledge divine. So very interesting. So if you hear the video that I sent you privately, Mamaji, which I'll share with the group also later, there it's beautiful. I mean, you'll read one phrase: paradoxical irony. Again, Baba's words in God Speaks in the chapter. So paradoxical irony. So paradox is itself anything which is opposites, right? And then irony is also that. So Baba sometimes can make you think really deep. Let's continue. Any other comments before we? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Those who were with me at the spot at the time of my car accident in America can alone well describe my own sense of humor as how thoroughly battered, bruised, and literally helpless and hopeless I was when lying with broken bones in a pool of my own blood together with my dearest ones. I yet maintained my silence and my consciousness throughout the crisis and the long period of convalescence. 69. The reference from the Awakener, volume 14, number 2, page 1 and 2, 1972.
oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. The avatar is the total manifestation of God in human form. He represents reality in flesh and blood. It is in him that the infinite has defined itself. So whenever God comes amongst mankind as the God man, he has an infinite sense of humor. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why the avatar is immensely loved by some and greatly misunderstood by the rest of humanity, for whom he assumes a human form. What a timeless sport of the ancient one.
So if you take the example of Krishna, we know that he also was very light-hearted, and there are so many uh, stories and incidents that we have all heard of now in about Krishna, right, and his sense of humor and his humanness, let's say. And the way Krishna is painted is human, as also with all the little idiosyncrasies. And if you notice, Baba too, right? So like he has a sense of humor. We saw right in the few pages above that he can also be very, very harsh sometimes. very, very harsh, right? So, like he was admonishing the people on the cleaning of the bed bugs, like he was pulling Murali's leg about being lazy in public, and somebody else, right? So, there's quite a lot of examples right in the last few pages. So, I
Yes,
think the infinite sense of humor is one way of looking at it, but the bigger thing is there is a sense of humanness and and next doorliness, right? Something that you can very easily relate to in spite of being in Rarikshya, right? So both of them they handle with ease the avatars.
absolutely. And it also, signifies compassion. And when he mentioned Krishna, I'm reminded of the Bal Leela, the uh, anecdotes, some stories about his, you know, being Makhan
Feeling, playing, yeah.
playing, yeah, and playing, and the the childliness, you know, just very naturally being a child. Shall I continue?
Please.
When I give the ocean. Baba pointed at his finger where people wear rings and gestured. Musts are like jewels. They are of great help to me in my spiritual work. Whenever Baba would talk about a must, his face would be aglow with motherly love and pride. He would often refer to them as his beloved children. Must love God for the sake of love. The God man is that love made flesh human form. Baba then pointed out the difference between the unadulterated self-effacing love for God, the must, and the self-controlling austerities of spiritual aspirants who seek God as truth. To clarify this issue, Baba cited a few brief incidents from the lives of the Mas. Then, as a contrast, related in detail the austerities of a seeker that Baba had contacted at Chitrakoot near Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh. The gist of the story, as I recall, is given below. In his early years, this seeker suffered from paralysis of his limbs. Owing to the help of a yogi whom he regarded as his guru, he was totally cured of his disability. Thereafter, he left his home and stayed in a remote cave for 40 years, practicing austerities. Soon he brought his body under complete control, so much so that he slept for only an hour each day and then on a bed of nails. As for his food, he lived on a chapati a day and drank water only 3 or 4 times in 24 hours. But in spite of such severe austerities, he did not receive a taste of sweetness of God's love, nor did he receive a glimpse of God. To see God or to taste his love is an act of grace, and grace is independent, unconditional.
I think you can underline this sentence as well as the previous one in the paragraph above. Not here. Come down, come down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ah, Baba
Yeah.
then pointed out the difference between the unadulterated self-effacing effacing love of God love for God of must, and the self-controlling austerities of spiritual aspirants who seek God as truth. So
It only makes me think that how lucky we are, you know. So, pretty there is a grace of Him that we are in touch with Baba. Jai Baba,
Yes.
whatever way, individually. Jai
Yes.
Baba.
Yes, Sanjay ji, we should be grateful that we got the chance to know and learn about him.
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. Baba further told us that there are thousands of persons who invoke divine grace. However, after many years, only one among them is blessed with it. And the instant it descends, the recipient experiences God realization. No one should regard this reality with extreme pessimism, but with the optimism of the brave. This is the height of this optimism which inspires true heroes, the real men of God, lay their lives at God's feet for a taste of His love without any expectation, even for union with the beloved. In the same vein, Baba now addressed Neeldhar, one of his mandali, who under Baba's order had observed fast and silence for quite a long time and made pilgrimages on foot. Turning to him, Baba teasingly gestured. Peter has now become so desperate, he thinks that instead of my talking about the height of optimism or the ocean of love, I should give him just a spoonful or two of the ocean. He even tells me, I don't want the ocean. I would be satisfied with just a spoonful of it. However, the fact is that if I were to give anyone a spoonful, that very spoonful would later make it extremely difficult for such a one to receive the ocean. That very taste would become an obstacle in his merging in the ocean. So when I give the ocean, not a drop. What is the significance of the last paragraph? Any thoughts?
Wondering myself, and it's not very clear.
Yeah, because yeah. Anyway, this is I also got a little.
No,
It's
this sort of refers to reality or awakening. So it is instantaneous knowledge of everything together. So you cannot distribute knowledge in spoonfuls. So it has to be either given totally or it is not there. So you are still always searching for it. So that's what is referred to here. So ocean can be given as a whole, cannot be given as a drop or a spoonful.
So it's either
I think it
total.
is also, yeah, sorry. I think it is a
Yeah.
talk also talking of intermediate experiences that people get and that entangled on the way, and then they enjoy the taste of that, forgetting. There's the very taste would become an obstacle in emerging in the ocean, because that one food is so tasteful and enchanting that people get, you know, astray from the path. That's my interpretation. One interpretation.
Yes.
Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, what I
Spoonful.
understand is, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead. Somebody else is talking.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mamaji. God realization can be obtained only once, not in a stepwise. It's not possible because one has to be ready for that. Only then one can get the God realization. Because Baba is loves us very much. He is ready to give us. The problem is, are we ready to receive it? That is the problem. And Baba gives us each time, whenever we are ready, he gives a present for us so that we receive that love and be prepared better next time. Each time we go to Samadhi, Baba gives us a present. Example, I'm telling. And that present we take it and live in this world, and we are getting readier and readier. Each time we go, Baba gives more. Baba knows where we are standing. He gives more. Whenever he thinks we are ready, and the grace is always there. Only problem is, are we ready to take it? That's the thing. That's what he's saying here in this paragraph. Jebel.
Jai Baba.
Uh,
Um,
I I
yeah,
also appreciate the way Sanjay ji
exactly.
interpreted,
Both
so that small taste may make you say
get lost in that.
ecstatic and get lost and astray also. That also gives an idea of the fourth plane uh, effects also. So realization in parts is always difficult to manage, and it's not the proper reality. Jai Baba.
Mahaji, you echoed my thoughts. I was also thinking about the lure of the fourth plane.
Yes.
So any other comments? I'll continue.
Yeah, please continue. No, I think both of the points of view are correct, right? So it looks like Baba is referring to, in his compassion, he's referring to giving you all of it in an easier way without the problems of the planes in one shot. And what the gradual uh, grant of gifts and final gift of God realization, as Raviji explained, that also makes sense, right? So it's just left to interpretation, and it's deeply contextual on what Baba said here.
Yes.
And also, I remember repeated say utterances by Kamakoti Krishnamurti regarding I would like to go veiled direct.
Yeah. MOM and
Kama is here.
indirect.
Kama is attending.
Yeah.
Looking at pleader, Baba gestured. Wait. God keeps company with those who have patience. The time will come. So continue to wait till the end of April. Today, although I am in the state of a devotee, I'm sure of one thing. I feel confident that by the end of April, things won't be as they are now for the world, for you all, and for me. Wait until April.
So he's talking about April 1953. Okay. So maybe we can rotate the reading. Anybody who wants to read now in place of Ashokji? Thank you so much, Ashokji.
And thank you, Karthik, for the opportunity. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, let me read a couple of pages. Yeah, you can cover.
Sure, please.
Opportune moment. Baba continued. In the Darbar, the gathering of the close ones, of the Sadgurus, history repeats itself. There are always some disciples or devotees who grumble about the delay in getting a response from God the Beloved. They think, in spite of our intense and earnest longing, why haven't we seen God? Why haven't we had a glimpse of Him? In fact, they should well know that God, who is equally in us all, is infinitely more anxious for union with each one of us than we are for union with Him. But He knows and waits for the opportune moment. Tukaram, one of the prominent perfect masters of Maharashtra, is well known for his profound love for God and the intense agony of separation that he experienced, like a fish out of water. After God realization, he wrote in one of his Abhangas, Dear one, remember well that union with God is never the result of your efforts, however desperate they may be. Your longing will not bear fruits until the divinely ordained moment dawns upon you. He knows best. With God's infinite, unconditional compassion, this divinely ordained moment, Khadi, instantly annihilates all separation. It is the descent of the eternally benevolent infinite, crossing the abyss to reach the infinite and engulf it into itself as itself.
Okay.
It is,
The
it is, yeah, I'll read the last line again, maybe. Yeah.
you know
A meter used.
the abhang is basically a meter used in Marathi poetry.
Yeah,
It's set to very, very beautiful music. Very beautiful music.
yeah.
Abhangs. Yeah, you can read the last line if you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
It is the descent of the eternally benevolent infinite, crossing the abyss to reach the finite and engulf it into itself as itself. That's the God realization definition, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baba then changed the topic and began to recall some funny stories from the early years. Once during Baba's mosque tours, he expressed a wish for some entertainment. In those days, the general instruction for those with him was to be very economical in all things and dealings. Baidul offered to arrange a Qawwali program, and this made Baba very happy. Soon the singers arrived, but their performance was poor in all aspects. Their voices weren't good, their music wasn't good, and their ghazals weren't good. So Baba was forced to end the program early. When Baba admonished Baidul for not being more careful and bringing a good kawal, he replied, Baba, you want us to be very economical. I had settled this program with the party for just 2.5 rupees, including. Sorry, you
Don't
read.
don't
Karthik, you continue.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Including transportation. So it's 2.5 rupees, including transportation. This gave Baba a hearty laugh, and perhaps that was more than enough entertainment and relaxation for him. Baba also narrated, please have some water, Sanjay ji. Thanks for reading. I hope you get better. I have some itch in my throat as well, but I'm good to read. Baba also narrated a few incidents illustrating the Herculean physical strength which he possessed in the 20s. He was very slim and wiry then, but once he slapped Bua Sahib, one of the hefty and strong mandali, so hard that he knocked him over. Another time he lifted Kondiram just by his ears. Had such strength, Baba gestured, that when a fiery mood possessed me, people used to hide, even in the bathrooms. This is Manzil-e-Meen days. However, look at me now. The septum of my nose is broken, my feet are swollen, I can't walk well. The same strength is now expressed in bearing suffering. What a change. I felt that Baba was indirectly hinting at his avataric sense of humor. By evening, Baba left for Mehrazad in a very relaxed mood. He looked to me as radiant as he appeared in the mornings. Reading of the holy books. During my 2 week stay at Mehrabad, November 5th will be regarded as one of the special days preceding the 3 day gathering. In the morning, as all gathered in the hall before Baba, he conveyed, Today is a very important day for me and for all who are present here. Be sincere and serious about the duties entrusted to you, whether these are in the Agrakuti, the Jhopri, or elsewhere. On Baba's left, there was a small table in the corner on which the holy books had been neatly placed. This was the day when Baba was to participate in the prayers conventionally conducted according to the different religions. All of the five priests were ready and waiting for Baba's signal to begin. Neelu, one of Baba's personal physicians, was frequently at Baba's side to help him move about. This being a day of prayers, Baba was expected to stand up, bend over, or squat on the floor. But today, Baba wanted Erich to help him in these activities, so he teased Neelu by gesturing that he did not seem to have had his bath in the morning, so he had to ask Erich to take his place. At the beginning of the program, Baba sat on a cushion that had been placed on the floor. He applied a tilak. Tilak is a colored powder applied by Hindus on the forehead, usually in the shape of a circle. He applied a tilak on his forehead, tied a silk cord around his waist, and lit a prayer lamp which had 7 wicks. He then asked Kale Mama, a Hindu priest, to recite in Sanskrit a couplet in praise of Rama from a hymn composed by the great Rishi Valmiki. To this, Kale Mama read a Marathi commentary in the form of verses by the Sadguru Gyaneshwar on the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This went on for half an hour. The next reading was of the Avesta, the holy book of the Zoroastrians. Baba stood up near Kaiko Bagh, wore a kushti, and placed a Parsi cap on his head. Kaiko Bagh read from the Avesta for about 30 minutes. Then Baba asked him to repeat the 101 names of God that devout Parsis often recite. At the end, Baba gave the cap he wore to Pleader and kushti to Kaiko Bagh. Now it was Ramju's turn to say the Muslim prayers. Prior to this, he offered namaz, in which he assumed different postures in the conventional way. During this time, however, Baba sat quietly with his head touching the floor. Then followed the reading from the Holy Quran for half an hour. Its completion, Baba walked over to his gadi. He hung a cross around his neck, and Murli, wearing a long gown, stood before him. Our gesture that Murli looked exactly like a priest. Murli began, "In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Baba asked Murli, when he had finished reciting the Lord's Prayer, to read the Sermon on the Mount, one of his favorite parts of the Bible. Baba then took the cross that was hanging around his neck and gave it to Murli. Daulat Singh was the last priest, and he was directed to read from the Granth Sahib, the holy book of the Sikhs. Before the reading started, Baba placed an iron bracelet around his wrist, like that of a Sikh. It was 11 o'clock when the special program was over. At the end of each reading, Baba bowed down to the priest who conducted the prayers. Prasad was distributed to all who were present in the hall, and without making any comments, Baba left the meeting and went to his cabin. During the entire morning session, Baba looked very devout and presented himself as a perfect aspirant before the priests. He wholeheartedly participated in the religious programs conducted according to the different faiths of the world. It was indeed a very solemn and serious occasion through and through.
Could you note the date of this event? Was it mentioned?
It's 1952, and
Year we know, month also
yeah,
we
I
know. It
don't
is
know. I
November.
don't know the.
It is in November. It is just before going to Hamirpur, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So just see the date if it is there somewhere on that.
No, I don't think the date
Yeah,
was
it's on
mentioned.
November 5th. See, November
Okay,
5th is the date when all this reading of prayers is happening. Yeah. Jai Baba.
sure. Okay, great.
Yes,
Thank you.
it is there. As you start reading the holy books, first line it is there. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you.
Date is
You're
mentioned
following
as
it.
you read, 5th November, I think.
Thanks. Thank you for spotting that. Yeah. So it was given. Okay. Okay. Anybody else wants to read for a bit?
Yes,
I
I
think
Ravi?
I can read.
Yeah. Okay, Mama Ji, and then another voice. I thought it was Ashish.
Yes,
In that order. Okay.
yes, okay.
Men of God.
The men of God. When Baba was in his cabin, Sarosh told him that Daulat, my dear mother of Mehra, had died that day in the early hours of the morning. For many years, over 16, she had observed silence under Baba's order. In spite of this, she surprised all her household. Uh, she supervised all her household work in Nasik. In the afternoon, Baba disclosed the news to all in the hall. He also told us that Daulat Mai loved him very dearly and that she had passed away peacefully. In conclusion, he remarked, "My dear Daulat Mai, my God's grace, by God's grace, will live in me forever." Baba wished that this news be circulated among his closer women disciples and devotees. With reference to the dropping of the gross body and the real death, Baba quoted a couplet of Kabir's, which means, reference 72, for Meher Baba's discourse, born once, die once, see glimpses of the God man, Meher
This
Baba
appeared
wanting.
already.
Yeah,
This already appeared in our reading earlier. Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to say that Daulat Mai's tomb is one of the big tombs. The first one with the chain around is Nani, what's her name? Nani, her mother, that American. What's her name? The who draws pictures. Reno Gailey's mother, Nano Gailey. That's the first one. The second one is Baba's parents, and the third one is Daulat Mai's. They're big um, tombs.
One's near the tree, right?
Yeah, near the tree.
Ah, okay. The poem, just above, can you drop down a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. With reference to the dropping of the gross body and the real death, Baba quoted a couplet of Kabir's, which means, discard the body, it remains. Preserve the body, it goes. And so the astounding fact emerges that the uncared for corpse eats up death. That the corpse eats up death. The work of Meher Baba with advanced souls, sadhus, the mad and the poor, page 24. That is the reference 73.
So this is quoted there, but it's actually a Kabir's Doha.
Doha.
Anybody remembers the original? Please share.
What is that
Corpse
reference?
eats up death.
What
So
is that
it's
reference?
also no. So
I
there
didn't
is a
understand.
booklet called Work of Meher Baba with Advanced Souls, Sadhus, Mad, and the Poor. On page 24, this Doha is quoted.
Hmm. Who
That's
wrote
what
this
I
book? Do you
get.
know?
No.
In the informal discussion that followed, Baba continued, people die in all sorts of ways, but it is nothing to be upset about. They are born again and again in different gross bodies. But during one's lifetime, one should do whatever one honestly feels without getting attached to actions. Changing bodies between lifetimes is similar to changing a coat. Some die young, such as those who died at the time of the partition of Indian subcontinent into India and Pakistan. Some live long lives. They do not change their coats soon like Gustaji. Gustaji was in the habit of wearing a tattered old coat with patches. He was always reluctant to change his clothes. After this teasing, Baba told us that when Gusaji was with him in the West a few months back, he had been a well dressed person, although he eh, retained his other usual characteristics. Baba
You know,
continued, huh,
interesting thing about Gustaji is when he was in America, he would eat only ice cream. So Adi and Dr. Neelu would drive him to the nearest grocery store in South Carolina when Baba was taking rest after the accident, and he was doing the updating the God Speaks manuscript.
oh,
And Adi would drive with along with Neelu and Gustaji every day, probably morning and evening, and he would eat only ice cream, nothing else. I thought that's very interesting. Yeah.
Mama,
Yeah.
can you repeat the last line again? I think it's unusual, not usual. So I think it's just
ah, okay. Although he retained his other unusual characteristics. Okay. Baba continued, the masti of mus neutralizes heat, cold, and disease. This is the divine law. Must do not worry about keeping their bodies healthy, owing to their total dependence on God. The power of Vigyan sustains their bodies. It descends to itself to it descends to itself to help such souls. However, with the most slightest thought of retaining the body, the reception ceases automatically. In a way, a must is a dead person except for his being conscious of the plane that he is experiencing. But a perfect majub has no connection with the three worlds. In this, in his case, the corpse, the body, has eaten up death. This is the real death, after which there is no more birth. It is possible for scientists to it is not possible for scientists to understand the power of Vigyan. They cannot reach even the fringe of the subtle bird. This is a powerful statement. The whole paragraph has a lot of uh, things to ponder.
So, two, three things, right? The must, when he starts thinking about the body, basically retaining the body, he loses the connection with the gyan and the reception ceases automatically.
Yes,
Second, perfect Majzub has no connection with the three words. And he's saying that's the reference to the third line of the Doha, the fourth line of the Doha. The corpse eats up the death, and
yes,
that's real death. And yeah, so last one is about scientists and how they can never understand the subtle word
yes. Uh,
or Vigyan Bhumika.
Those on the gross plane are in Annabhumi. Those on the subtle plane are in Pranabhumi. Those on the mental plane are in the Manobhumi. A soul, when united with the oversoul, becomes the sun, not the sun you see in the sky, but an altogether different one that is the source of infinite power, bliss, beauty, sound, and knowledge. I think this is a repetition. Beauty, sound, and knowledge. So usually we refer to infinite power, bliss, and knowledge. So beauty and sound is included here. Any inputs regarding that from anyone?
And it's the second occurrence. You're right.
Yes.
We saw it even in earlier, I think last week's reading.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Every attribute of this sun is infinite. The infinite Tej, effulgence, or Noor that exists eternally first passes to the mental plane and then through the subtle plane until it reaches the gross plane. Musts are God intoxicated souls. They have drunk the wine of love. They have no attachment with their gross bodies. They are the men of God. And so Hafiz says in one of his couplets, be so intoxicated with love that God Himself will have to look after you. Jnaneshwar and Jnaneshwari.
I just want to talk a little bit about this must. This is Bal Natu writing, but Baba, when he was writing this, giving talks to these Premashram boys in the creation and its causes, musts are those, they think they are God realized. And they go deviate from the path to God, and they get stuck in the heavens. And how they get stuck in the heavens is there are two types of people. One set of people have gurus, like we all do. Baba is the guru for us. And there are other sects. Somehow, by leading a spiritual life, their sanskaras get subtle and they enter into the planes, but they don't have a guru. The people who don't have guru, they get lost in the heavens. Each plane has got heavens, and they think they get God realization, and they're enjoying the the heavens wherever they are. But he is writing slightly different that they are God men, they love God, and all those things. But that seems to be slightly different from what Baba Jai Baba.
I think he's quoting Baba here because there are clear quotation marks. And again, I'd request you to probably look back at those words and see if there is a difference. So this
Mm.
is all wherever he uses quotes, it's clearly Baba's, and this message is Baba's. Maybe there is
No,
a,
to be
reproduction
honest
error
with you,
possible.
yeah, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I searched if Baba ever said must or God intoxicated, but I never found anywhere.
Well,
I said God speaks and
no, 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 hold on.
discourses,
In uh, Wayfarers, which had
wayfarers.
Baba's approval, Dawkins
Mm.
very clearly defines must as. So there is actually a definition of various people on the path, right?
Yeah, right,
And
right,
that
right.
has Baba's blessing. That's
I
approved. The
see.
text of that is approved by Baba. So
Yeah,
in that, the God intoxicated word is used for must. And that's what is used by all the Baba community to describe a must.
I see, I see. But the way,
Yes.
if you read this book, newer book, I read few times. Already I read 3 or 4 times. But there, Baba clearly defines people who have guru versus people who don't have guru. And clearly, Baba gave a picture, which I can post it in the WhatsApp. There is a Baba writes with an arrow. These people who don't have guru, they get lost in these heavens. And Baba compared plains to railway stations and heavens to
Yeah.
cities.
Cities, yeah. That is then
Cities.
creation and cosmos, yes, yes.
So people who have God realized guru, he takes blindfolded, takes them station to station. That means plane to plane with very short time. Whereas people who got no guru, they get stuck in this for ages. Anyway,
Jay
I think
Baba,
what I'm thinking,
the insight I can give
just
you is that, yeah, go ahead, Ravi.
1 second, comma. I think the way it's mentioned, God intoxicated in the wayfarers. Just a thought came to me just now. I'm thinking because they are praying to unmanifest form of God. This is my thinking right now. They think they are God realized in the heavens. That's what I'm thinking. That's
So
what they're
if you're
calling
seeing the
God
screen,
intoxicated.
before comma, I'll just let you
Hmm,
see what I'm showing. This is from chapter 1. This
hmm.
section itself is called Spiritually Advanced Souls. And it's an explanatory chapter. And
Oh yeah. Mhm,
God intoxicated is musts. Right. So this again, all of this, if you read the preface and if you know the history of this book, Baba asked for this to be written. Baba looked at the book before it got confirmed. And if you know the nature
hmm.
of the booklet is very small. The stories and accounts which make up the supplement are more than
Hmm.
70% of the pages of the book, which are
Very
just
interesting.
accounts of the various meetings. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This is very
you can
interesting.
actually
Yeah, I need to.
very
Yeah, I
interesting
need to
book.
read this
You
again.
should.
Yeah,
I think you didn't join us. You didn't join us for the reading of this book. The whole
I did.
playlist
I did
is
once in a while. Yeah,
yeah. The whole playlist is available, so you can catch up with that
yeah.
as well.
I need to read
Yeah,
this
Kama.
to understand. Jawab.
Kama
Yeah,
was
Jay
also saying
Baba,
something.
I think a very important thing is we have to be very careful about the terminologies we use. Heaven is a state of mind, heaven and hell when you go into the reincarnation and karma chapter. Second, the word must. You have to look at the glossary in God Speaks. So basically, masti is God intoxicated. Of course, it's not God realization because God realization happens only in the seventh plane. So just like you have different forms of love, there are different kinds of must depending on which plane you are in. And as Ravi rightly said, basically the musts are caught up in a particular plane because they don't have the guidance of a living guru. So the best way to go is veiled, which means you don't have to even go through the planes. He just takes you. We don't know what plane is, but the whole idea is that musts are in musti, and of course you have suluk. The saliks. There are people just like musts who are stuck in different planes, but they are not in God intoxication all the time. They are like saliks. So you can say musti is like a form of fana also. There is no mind state, but it's not the real final fana that you have in the seventh plane. So that's what I meant, Jay Baba.
So in fact, we have that. So this is what he's saying. All of this is described in the same chapter. The Sulukiyat and Salik and Rarav. And we have this PowerPoint also, which makes it easier for us to remember. Anyway, we'll not get distracted. Let's get back to the reading. Gyaneshwar and Gyaneshwari. Who's reading, by the way? I forgot. Mamaji.
Yes. uh, Jnaneshwar and Jnaneshwari. A day earlier, Baba had instructed Sadashiv Patil, one of the mandali, to visit Alandi, a small town near Pune. Alandi is a well-known place of pilgrimage because Jnaneshwar's Samadhi is located there. Patel was asked by Baba to offer respects to his on his behalf at the Samadhi on the morning of November 5th. Patel accordingly visited Alandi, paid homage to Jnaneshwar's tomb, and returned to Mehrabad the same afternoon. While he was reporting to Baba about his visit, it was found that by coincidence a special worship, Mahapuja, had been arranged at the Samadhi on that day. The time of the puja, uh, the time of the puja coincided with Baba's listening to the Dhyaneshwari, which was read out to him by Kele Mama in Meherabad Hall. Reference
Kale Mama.
74.
Kale Mama.
Kale Mama, yes. Dhaneshwari is reference 74. Dhaneshwari is a profound and lucid commentary in Marathi on the Bhagavad Gita, comprised of hundreds of verses that explain in a very graceful manner spiritual truths in relation to the ultimate reality.
I happen to have this book, English translation of even Sai Baba suggested for many people to read that. But that's not an easy reading. You need to special
Daneshwari,
study. Dhyaneswari translation of Bhagavad Gita. And
commentary of
for each sloka, he wrote number of comments for each sloka. Different comments, not easy to understand and read. Probably you need to be in higher planes to understand, I think. It's very cheap. I mean, I bought it in the Amazon. Originally, it was written in Marathi, but it was translated by some people.
well, the commentary is more complicated. That's not a good sign. But we are dealing
I'm
with
sure
the
it's
tough books as well. I'm still struggling with our homework, which I will now remind everybody about. So please don't show up tomorrow without doing homework. Seven
what is
stages
the homework?
visualization. Seven stages visualization uh, for the pages 99 to 104 of God Speaks. So everybody will have to say something on what they did. Okay. So you have another 24 hours in case you have not done it already. Still guilty. I could not. I was traveling for 4 of the days. But then, in a state of panic, I called Mamaji yesterday to see whether he's done anything. He's also in the same state. But we
Five
have to
pages?
use the next 24 hours. Yes, it's
What,
not
five
easy
pages?
reading. It's 5 pages, but it's not easy reading. And we are currently at that point. So we wanted to visualize that with a schematic, with a diagram, and and try to infer or make some broader understanding of the transitions. The transition that's described in those 7 stages is at is on 2 dimensions. One is the divine dream, the dream of God, and the second is the sleep state and the nightly ritual of us sleeping and getting up. So, though it seems very simple, there is a lot that is conveyed in those 5 pages, and there is profundity which is more broader. The impact of understanding that is more broader. So I think effort would be useful overall, and effort would be putting the right effort there would help not just us in understanding but everybody, and then it helps putting it to the head a little more. So please
You
spend some
know,
time today. It's a weekend.
I, Karthik, I
Yeah.
just skimmed through that.
Hmm.
Maybe I want to blurt out, okay? I want to blurt out. Baba compared our sleeping pattern to God realization. That's all there is to it. That's what my understanding is. Every day we
Yes.
sleep, okay?
Correct. But then he has repeated that whole concept over actually 10 to 12 pages. So even before 99, he says the same thing. And in
Yeah,
99 to 104, he splits it at 2 levels. The as you said, the sleep of the human every night and the divine dream of the man. So I think
yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
at one level very simple, just a comparison and so on. But I would request those of you who have the time and interest to do some work on it.
yeah. I mean, basically, what I understand from that reading those pages was if we did not have any comparison for us, it would be very hard. See, even in that book, Creation and Causes, which I'm currently helping others to understand, Baba compared whole body about the evolution and the planes and the heavens and everything. The whole body. He took every part of the body and he compared. Why did he do that? Because in for Premashram young boys, if he talks about the planes, evolution, they were not in a position to, probably they were not in a position to grasp it. It's all theory, right? So he
Yeah.
compared with the human body and each part of the body, how, for example, foot, he compared with the evolution. Thumb to be human being, little finger to be stone, and other fingers as they are evolving, fish, birds, and animal. He took only these three. And they could understand by looking at their feet, oh, this is how the soul evolves. And then he compared different involution plane, ankle, knee, where the hip, all those things. He compared very well there. That is how I think people were able to understand the whole part of that involution part. In the same way, Baba was telling us how a man gets God realization using our daily example of sleeping and waking up.
Yeah.
That's what
So I think
thought
more on
come to
that,
me. Yeah,
more on that tomorrow. But I was just using
sure.
the airtime today to
Good,
remind
good idea.
everybody.
Very good idea. Good idea.
Yeah,
Very good idea.
yeah,
Thank you. Jai Baba.
yeah, yeah, Baba. Another 15 minutes to go. So, Mamaji, you want to
Ah,
finish
ah.
hearing this?
Hearing this, Baba stated, I have a very close connection with Dhyaneshwar and so with the Dhyaneshwari. And that is why I sent Patel to Alandi. Dhyaneshwar was a perfect master, and his elder brother Nivrutti was his Sadguru. His younger brother Sopan and his youngest sister Muktabai were also perfect ones. It is a unique happening in spiritual history that all the four brothers and the only sister in one family were God realized. Dhaneshwar has written exceptionally beautiful and meaningful verses in Dhaneshwari and Guru Bhakti, perfect surrender to the perfect master. Baba's above comment.
Yeah, quick comment.
No, that's very,
So
very
the
interesting.
perfect one, yeah, very interesting. So here, Dhyaneshwar is a perfect master, Sadguru. The others are called perfect ones. Now they are just God realized souls. But Baba goes on to say that it is a unique happening in spiritual history that all brothers and the only sister in one family were all God realized. So very interesting indeed.
Yes, yes. So it is also
Even Baba,
depicted in
even
some pictures.
Oh,
another
okay.
example, there was one family in the Bombay area. All of them were in, except one, all of them were in planes, something like masts or something like that.
Oh,
And then this one who is normal would take care of all of them.
Wow.
The family of a big family, big family of brothers and sisters. All of them were musts, but only one was. I read it
Normal.
somewhere in Lord Meher, probably. Yeah, Jima.
Yeah, Baba.
okay. Where was Baba's
That was
above
about.
comments? Baba's above comment reminds me of an incident that happened in the mid-20s at Mehrabad. It was a period when Baba had permitted quite a number of his devotees to stay there. One of the residents used to read some verses from the voluminous Yaneshwari every day. When Baba, during one of his casual visits to different houses at Mehrabad, learned of this, he lightly remarked, read and meditate on Dhaneshwar's commentary on the seventh verse of the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this is a reference. Read and meditate on Dhaneshwar's commentary on the 7th verse of the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So those who are doing a lot of work with Bhagavad Gita can remember this and try to specify what Baba is telling us here. This part incidentally turned out to be a very illuminating description of the qualifications of the aspirant with particular reference to Guru Bhakti. One may wonder how Baba could make such an exact reference. However, this is only one of the innumerable glimpses of Baba's all-knowingness.
So that's the
You want
one.
me to?
Icha.
You want
Yeah,
me to
go
read
ahead.
the?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to read the meaning of the 7th sloka on the 13th chapter?
Yeah, I got it online. You want to read it?
Oh, you got it too? Okay, just one second. I'm looking at mine, but
Yeah,
yeah, this is the
whatever.
same thing. Yeah. Desire and aversion.
No, read the original, please. I love listening
Okay,
to, and if you
just one
can.
second. I need to read in my own language. Sorry. I'm not good at.
Cha dvesha sukham dukkam
Just
sangatha.
give me
Yeah, go ahead.
7th sloka. Okay. Kshetra
I can even.
Kshetra Vibhaga. Yeah.
No, the next one, I think. Kshetra comes in the second line.
Seventh one,
Icha
right? Seventh
dvesha.
one.
Yeah, icha dvesha.
Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sangataschetana dhrutihi etat kshetram samasena savikaramudaghrutam. That is the sloka.
Okay, you can read your translation.
Yeah, same thing. I opened the same thing. Desires,
Okay.
same thing. Just
Yeah. Desire and
desires and
aversion. Yeah.
aversion, happiness and misery, the body, the consciousness, and the will, all these comprise the field and its modifications. Basically, he's saying whatever the desires we get and whatever likes and dislikes, or desires we like it, right? I want to do this, I likes. Aversion means I don't like this. My likes and dislikes, my happiness and my miseries, whatever I like to be happy, whatever I want to do that causes me miseries, which I don't like. And this body, physical body, my consciousness, and the will, whatever I want to be, my consciousness will, all these comprise the field and its modifications. That means in illusion, this is a jiva. That's what it's saying. And they keep changing all the time.
Okay. Now let's go back and see the previous paragraph, which says this, which I don't think is correlating, but if you can read this now.
This part incidentally turns out to be a very illuminating description of the qualifications of the aspirant with particular reference to Guru Bhakti. One may wonder how Baba would make such an exact reference. However, this is only one of the innumerable glimpses of Baba's all-knowingness.
Oh, my guess is there is probably a mistake in the numbering. So it may not be 13 and 7. It could be
Oh,
something else
no.
because there's no reference to Guru Bhakti.
No, you have to read the Dhyaneswar commentary on this sloka.
Yes.
That is different.
Yeah, but still correlating that to Guru Bhakti, even through a commentary, seems to be too much of a stretch. So here you're talking about Kshetra, field, which is a very big concept in Vedanta, Kshetra, right? So that and Guru Bhakti, I don't know. Dhyaneshwari may have it. We may be right, or maybe there is a some slip up
Ganaswari
on
has got
the.
a lot of comments that, yeah,
You have it, so
probably
you
he's.
can tell us by next week. Yeah, you
I
can
can
check it out and
make a
tell us.
yeah, I can
You
make a
can look it up
copy and
and tell.
post.
No, you can
Yeah,
just look it up and tell us what you find in 13.7.
yeah. I have a
Yeah,
feeling this numbering is wrong, I think.
exactly. That's what I think too. Because it cannot be Baba's mistake. It is most likely Bal Natu's mistake.
Guru Bhakti, yeah, Guru Bhakti. I'm sorry, what is that book we are reading? What
What do you mean?
glimpses of the what volume is
Yeah,
this?
yeah. This is volume 3,
And page?
164.
Okay,
164.
thank you.
Right. Last 5 minutes to go. Baba continued.
Baba continued. Dhaneshwar received the experience of Baba continued. Dhaneshwar received the experience of God realization when he was in his teens, while uh, Bayazid did not receive it until he was about 90. Even if someone with 99% spiritual preparedness dies, he has to take a body again for the remaining 1% preparedness. In such cases, the grace of God realization descends either in childhood or after 60 years of age. In Sufism, the subtitles of the spiritual path have been clearly mentioned. The Sufi masters have even classified the perfect ones according to their offices, duties towards the creation. Kamli is the perfect one.
Kamil, Kamil,
Akmal, Kamil
Kamil.
is the perfect one. Akmal, the most perfect one. Mukamil, the
Mukammil.
supreme Mukammil, the supreme perfect one, and Sahib Zaman is beyond the supremely perfect one. There is no difference in each one's experience of the eternal reality. However, the Sadguru Kutub experiences infinite perfection and infinite imperfection simultaneously. So
So Sahib e
experiences,
Zaman,
ah,
Sahib e Zaman is also the uh, uh, chairman emeritus, like Kama says, which is the avatar. And Mukammil, I don't know how is it different from Sadguru. Akmal and Kamil, yeah, they're just two variations of the God realized. Yeah, you were saying something.
no, maybe
Imperfection.
for these terms, we may have to go to that last chart in this, God Speaks, where comparison of each name is given.
I think these, yeah, they should be there. Yeah. By the way, I updated since last time the charts where I put all the textual charts as well. And the last one, yeah, you're talking about Ludwig. This one.
So here all the Vedantic, Sufi, and other things are all compared. So Ashok ji must be knowing.
Yeah. Let's see. Real Night Bomika. Okay. So from the left is no, we don't want bottom left. We want top right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Carmel ones are not here.
Okay, those terms are not here.
I think so. Unless I may be wrong, but you know the famous Carmel jokes from the Westerners, including Ward Parks, I think. I'm reminded of that. So he makes the Carmel Akmal thing as a humorous way of describing using camels because they sound like that. So Akmal, camel, it's a nice joke. Anyway, Um, Maybe we can stop after this session. So just one more para, please.
After such a profound explanation, Baba suggested that we tell him some humorous stories. Soon we found Baba in a jovial mood and some jokes gave him a good laugh. Before leaving the hall for Meher's Aad, Baba conveyed, I am not feeling well now, but I may but I must be in good health to carry out work on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. Some days before the Hyderabad meeting, June 1951, I felt very weak and nervous. But Neelu told me that I would be quite well by the time of the meeting, and it was a surprise to me that I remained very lively and active during these days. It's all God's grace and nothing else. And he gestured, let me see what happens now.
Oh, okay. Lovely reading. Thank you so much, Mamaji, and thanks to everybody who joined and hopefully enjoyed the reading as much as me. And
Thank you,
let's
Jai
catch up.
Baba.
Yeah, let's catch up tomorrow. Any thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I need to go to office. Thank you, Jai Baba.
Okay, Jai Baba, Jai Baba,
Jai Baba, Jai Baba, everyone. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.